Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your elemental energy reading for January of 2026 for the elemental energy of air. Air covers the zodiac signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So if you are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or have air high up in your charts, this message is for you. If you've never had your charts read, this is not a sponsored thing, but there is a natal chart down below. It's one that I use frequently because I keep going back to it. It gives you your base 12 houses with all the signs and symbols. Then there's a 10 to 20 page description of what all that means. And then there's a section in there that talks about your elemental alignment, which is kind of fascinating. So if you've never had those done, or if you're just looking to get a different perspective, the link's in the description. So with that, we will get started. I cast the I-ching hexagram before we started the video. And air, you have number 16, and the title is called Repose. And the text says, Repose profits those engaged in building up the country and sending forth the armies. So basically what we're looking at is when you are ready to start doing something, you have the ability to do so. And this is where that righteous path aspect of sticking to your morals and values, sticking close to your ethics and how you show up in the world, and that it's a quiet confidence that you build with that, so you don't have to be really aggressive. So what we're starting off with overall is this: you're going to be able to achieve pretty much whatever you want to get started this month. And January is the start of the Gregorian calendar, so it could be a lot of things. So you really are getting that energy of new beginnings and being ready for the change. Let's break down our line. So our foundation line here is: the crowing of the rooster bespeaks repose, an evil omen. And this is basically saying you don't want to overexert yourself. When you're understanding the concept of repose, it's not about hyper-aggression. And that's where they're saying the crowing of the rooster bespeaks repose. They have a different word for rooster, but we're not saying that on for safety reasons. And basically what it's saying is when you really get wound up and you have to get everything done and you're forcing yourself, air, that's not going to work out better for you. Take your time, really let yourself get into the state of, I'm doing this because I feel it is correct. I'm doing this because this is what I'm meant to do. And so when you get into that state, things are going to look better. But if you rush it, you're going to end up burning out. And that's what they're saying. So our second line: unmoved as a rock before the end of the day, righteous persistence brings good fortune. This is where unmoved as a rock. You don't have to worry about what other people are thinking. Just like with the first line, if you rush into stuff and you go too fast and you do everything all at once, you're going to burn out. This one is saying, just do you. Don't worry about the rest of it. Because when you do that, the righteous persistence will bring good fortune. Stay true to your morals, your ethics, the core values of who you are. Now, for some people, that might be through a religious structure, whether you're a Wiccan or a Christian or some ceremonial lodge. And other people just have this inherent need to follow their own code of conduct. Like, think of the Knight's Code type thing, where you have to follow these rules in your head. If you're following that and the rule is harm you none, do what you will, and you're going along that path, things are going to go well. And when you tap into your intuition and realize you don't have to rush everything, stay focused on the goal, do the next steps type energy, things are going to work out really well for you. Our third place line: to gaze reposefully brings regret, tardy action brings regret. You really don't want to ignore opportunity this month, air, because tardy action brings regret. When an opportunity arises, seize it. You're going to know intuitively, which might be a little bit of a challenge for some of our air family out there. Air tends to be very logical, analytical, very, very much, I have to be able to prove my point type thing. And so when it says tardy action brings regret, you don't want to delay. You don't want to rush. There's this perfect line in the middle where if you stay on that course, the middle path, if you will, if you're into the Kabbalah, you're going to have a much better time. If you start to veer one direction or the other, things are going to get a little more chaotic, and that's where the regret comes in. So our fourth place line, from Repose, great results occur. Harbor no doubts. Why should it be harmful to befriend this official? So you want to surround yourself with people who have similar visions. No one's going to have the exact same vision as you, so don't worry about that. But from Repose, great results occur. Harbor no doubts. You don't want to doubt what you're doing. If you have that feeling of, well, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I should start this business. I don't know if I should date that person. Then don't. Just stop right there, because you have too many doubts. It's not going to work out. Having some conditional doubt is one thing where, well, I have a backup plan. We're going to go this direction. We'll see how this plays out. That's a little bit different. But if you're just really, you just don't feel that this is the right path, just stop right there. Because what it's saying is, from Repose, great results will occur. So you're staying calm, you're staying cool, you're staying collected, you're following your morals and values. And that is that quiet confidence stirring to life. That's what you want. But if you have the doubts that are really starting to pop up, just stop. Re-examine. It doesn't mean you have to quit. Stop moving. See what's going on. Why do you feel this way? So you can examine what's happening. And then, why should it be harmful to befriend this official? You really want to surround yourself with people who have a similar ideology to you. Again, no one's going to be the same. There's not one person on this planet that is going to have an exact match to your belief system or your practices, spiritual or business. So when you're saying befriend this official, it's really asking, is it a bad thing to have this group of people around you? If they are maybe on a slightly higher level, but they're being supportive and trying to encourage you, learn from what they're showing you. And that's where, when you take that pause, it allows you to see what's going on, what doubts are there. And if you have the right kind of feedback, sometimes it's not going to be the best. It's going to remind you that you're still human, so are they. And maybe this is not the option for you right now. Shift your awareness. It's totally something doable. Easy? Probably not. But is it doable? Yes. And our fifth place line, illness is presaged, but it will not last long or cause death. Basically, this is saying, if you push too hard, or you basically fall off that middle path where that calm confidence is, the repose path, this is where you could end up in an unpleasant state. In this case, you're saying illness, but it will not last long. So this is not something, if you happen to make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of everything. You went too fast, tried to open the business too soon, and it didn't do well. That's fine. See what you can do differently and try again. But don't take that as an absolute door slamming in your face, because that's not the case. Just like if you went to ask that person out and you stumbled over their words and they laughed, they might have thought you were being cute. Give it a minute, go back to them, and I bet you'll see a different story. So your capstone here, top of the thing, Madcap Repose. Fortunately, a change takes place, no blame is involved. So the Madcap Repose, this is kind of that, oops, I made a mistake thing, but it doesn't mean you're staying there. And it could just indicate that you are in a frustrated state. It could be that you are you're just ready to throw in the towel, you're ready to quit. Not quite, just cool it. Things aren't, there's no error here. It's the fact that it may not have been the right time or place, but that doesn't mean you failed. So this month is really going to be, stay true, get clear on who you are as a person, and that can take some time. So take what you have right now and work with that, and then build on that. And then allow yourself to really expand that. If you have a core value system, write it out. Really detail what it is that are what are your values? What are your vices? You can add that one in there too, just so you know where to avoid. And when you're doing this, allow yourself to be brutally honest. Don't show this to anyone else. This is for you. And as you are going through this, you can see pretty clearly, when you tap into this, how things line up for you. And when you do, you start to figure out more of what drives you. Are you someone who can't stand to be lied to? Are you someone who has to speak the truth? Sometimes you can be a little brutal with that. Air is notorious for this, actually. They're either really truthful or they're so disconnected that they forget what they're doing in the moment. So there is a path here that you guys get to work, and it's going to be an interesting path for you this month. We'll break down the months or the weeks here in a second to see what else is going on. But overall, you have a great deal of positive energy coming in for you, and there's a great deal of opportunity. But you have a little bit of work to do, and that is staying clear and true to who you are. Don't compromise. That is the one thing here. There's a way to work around problems, but if you compromise your core beliefs, that's where things are not going to be the greatest for you this month. Allergies are fun, middle of winter. Anyway, so we're going to break down each week. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe if you are interested in this kind of videos, and comment. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and impressions. And as we hop into the cards, if you see or sense something different from the cards I'm holding up, I read intuitively. Feel free to leave comments down below as to what you see or sense from the cards, because I'll read the words on the cards, but for the most part I let my guides bring in the information, because it's just how I've studied like the tarot specifically and tried to figure out the exact meanings and the keywords, and I always end up getting stuck on that, so I just go with my intuition and let it guide me. So we'll see how this goes for air this week. There's about 4.5 weeks in January, so we'll do a 5-week spread. Each week we're going to look at a guide or guardian, a message from source, which is a positive affirmation or a positive support energy type stuff, and then we'll get a little more clarification from the tarot just so that we can be clear on what is going on that week. So our first week's guide or guardian, and if the weeks don't line up the way I'm reading them, that's fine. That's a general reading, so if I read 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4 happens for you first, go with it. It's not a big deal in that respect. So your first week's guide or guardian is number 29, Roman numerals, and it's the Soul Guardian. This energy comes to me as like a higher self aspect. It could be a patron angel that's coming through, patron dragon in this case, and this is someone who's going to help you understand the path ahead. With I-ching, it talks about sticking to the righteous persistence, staying clear on your goals, really being true to yourself. The Soul Guardian is here to help you understand what that means for you personally. I can tell you all day long, but I may be completely off base. But a Soul Guardian is here to be your perfect guardian angel, your perfect guide on the other side. So this first week is really setting you up to be introduced to a very powerful protector and supporting energy. So as you go through this week, this first week of January, be aware that you have some very strong guidance coming in from the other side, and allow yourself to pay attention to your daydreams and even your night dreams. Keep a journal next to your bed when you wake up and you have that, what was that? Scribble it down real quick before it fades. That way you can actually try to remember the messages that are being brought through. So your message from source, and I don't usually have 2 cards pop out, but it is the Sweet Waters, sensuality, romance, enjoyment, fertility, and balance. And second card was the Pink Dolphin, celebration, fun, unbridled joy, and an open heart. Your Soul Guardian is coming in to be supportive and help you understand more about yourself. What Source is wanting to bring forward is really embrace the love of existence. Embrace your joys, the things that make you happy, the things that make you smile, the things that light you up. Really tap into those this first week. In a lot of cases, and personal life and from professional stuff that I've done, people, when they are in the aligned state, they shift their energy. They light up. Their auras become glows. Notice, they're both glowing. They have glows around them. And that's what they're wanting you to understand is when you start to understand a deeper image or come to the awareness of the deeper part of who you are as a person, Air, and you find those joys, you find those things that just make your heart kind of pitter-patter a little bit. It could be a love relationship, or it could just be the fact that something that makes you happy. Your energy shifts. Watch the people around you as you kind of wander around, and you'll notice that this is a very common thing. You see someone with a baby, that's, their baby, and you always can see the proud papas or the proud mamas when they're holding their baby, their face changes, their energy field changes. Some people, you'll see them when they come get around their dog. I love watching some of the people that I know when they come home from work and their dog just comes flying up to them. Their energy shifts that quick because the dog's so happy to see them and it lights them up. And that's the energy that's coming in with the pink dolphin and the sweet waters. Is find the things that light you up. Really stay focused on those things. Allow them to bloom within and allow your rainbow aura here to really flare and let it shine. With the soul guardian coming in, he or she, depending on how it manifests for you, is definitely going to help you light up in that respect. So this first week is a really powerful week for you. And you have, for your tarot card, this is number 16, Change Your Life with Archangel Kamael, a sudden revelation that offers freedom, breaking free of procrastination, embracing the opportunity that brings change. I think this is the Tower in traditional tarot, and this is one of the angel tarots by Radley Valentine, I believe. This one is reminding you that sometimes you have to break things apart to be able to move forward. The soul guardian is helping you break down the ego's stronghold and allow you to actually be yourself underneath all of that and really shine through. With the pink dolphin and the sweet waters, it's that reminder to find the thing inside that lights you up. Sometimes you have to crack that outer shell that we put around our hearts to be protective so that we can actually figure out who we really are underneath. Changing your life is all about this energy. And Archangel Kamael coming in she is such a beautiful, gentle, at least how I've always interacted with her, angel. Her aura is very pink, very rose quartz type. And when she comes in, you just feel your energy shift. Like your stress level drops, your shoulders drop. That stress that you usually hold in your neck kind of melts almost immediately. And so you've got a very strong week here for this first week because it wants you to really reconnect with the deepest part of who you are, Air. So allow yourself the gift of self-knowledge. Allow yourself the gift of self-awareness and the extreme benefit of self-love and perspective. That's not an ego trip thing. You respect yourself enough to take care of yourself. Your second week, you have a lot of light colors going on here, is number 23, the Platinum Dragon. So it's a higher frequency than gold, basically. But the Platinum Dragon is bringing in this immense value. When you come to an understanding of what your core beliefs and values and ethics and morals and all that fun stuff, when you come to the awareness, that is a gift that has no price. That is a power that no one else can wield over you. And that's what lights up like your chakra system here. You're awakening the highest aspect of who you are when you come to this understanding. And when you look at the chakras, they teach you about each step of awareness as you build up. The everyday mundane down here in the root, your sacral with your knowledge and connection to the outside world, the solar plexus where you start to understand the concept of power and how to use it within the world, the heart coming into balance, coming into alignment, the throat, how to communicate all thoughts, concepts, and ideas, including art. And then your third eye is where you become aware of your intuition. You become aware of the spiritual world around you. Then there's the crown where you connect in to the highest form of who you are, the highest aspect of the creator and creation. The platinum is saying you have a gift that is invaluable. No one can take this away from you, and no one can take away its value. And that's the part of that self-awareness that is so powerful, because when you touch that self-awareness and you start to become awake to that belief, it changes your perspective on the world. Because all of a sudden you realize where you fit into things, how the interplay of energies work, and then you figure out you're A, not alone, and B, just how much one little step that you take can shift everything, which is quite the powerful message here. Your message from Source is the sacred well, replenishment, self-care, giving from a place of plenty. Air, never forget, you are more abundant than you realize. I don't care if you're living under a bridge, you're still more abundant than you realize. Because if you can come into this code of conduct for yourself, and you can define it for yourself. It doesn't matter for someone else. You know where you're at and you know who you are. The sacred well is saying replenish. Take the time to relax. Take the time to grow and expand. Really tap into the refreshing energy that God's source can bring forward. In this second week, you are being reminded you have gifts and skills. You also have the inherent right for self-care. Things like taking a bubble bath, putting on candles. I don't care if you're male or female, a bubble bath will do you good. And have some candles going, play some gentle music, or watch that movie you've been putting off forever just because I'm too busy. Take some time to enjoy your life. Take some time. You work so you can live, not the other way around. So take some time to remind yourself of self-care. If you're in a relationship, take some time with your partner. Allow yourself to reconnect. In the second week, my guides are saying take this, what you're doing in the second week, and apply it to every week for the rest of this year. So the year, not the month. So each week you're taking a day for a date night, a family night, some type of connecting with your family, your spouse, or if you need to, take a time for yourself each day. 10 minutes, write in your journal, meditate, whatever it is. But start to really remind yourself that you hold value inherent to yourself, but also by doing that, you're reconnecting with those around you. It's not pulling away, it's saying, I do this because I care about myself, and that allows me to care for and help you as well. Your message from the tarot is the Two of Michael. It will all be better if you make a decision over analyzing a problem. Air doing that. And finding a compromise. Air, this is saying don't get wrapped up in the details. The devil's in the details. And this week is about understanding the beauty of the gift you're given and being able to share that and take the time for recovery and replenishment. But don't overthink it. Well, I have to sit down, I have to have the room exactly 72 degrees, the water has to be 84 degrees, I have to have exactly 12 candles. No, don't do that. Enjoy your life and have fun with it. If you only have one candle, light the one candle. If you only have Epsom salts and you wanted a bubble bath, I'm sure you have some essential oils, add some of those. You don't have to make it complicated. That's the point of what's going on here, is learning to enjoy even the simplest parts of life. So let's take a peek at our third week here and see who comes up. We have number 20, Lord Cthulhu. This one is an interesting one because I always feel like this is a protective energy that's coming in, someone who is coming forward to defend you at all costs. But it's also someone who's not going to let you get away with nonsense. If you are stepping around going, I don't want to, this doesn't sound fun, this is not the person you want to play with. Because this is an energy of truth and awareness. Again, there's a book, who knows what that says, I'm going with what comes in. And this is coming up for, you have a powerful defender, but it's also not going to let you slide. This could be that gym coach that your personal trainer, where you're like, man, I'm tired today. I don't care. You're going to do 20 reps. Well, I didn't eat well last week. And what was your excuse for that? I mean, that's the type of energy we're getting. But they're not doing it to be mean. They're doing it to help you out. And this could also be tying into it, like the I-ching. What's the error in befriending this official? When you have that circle of friends around you, the ones who are uplifting, growing themselves, but also going to help you grow, they're the type that'll call you out on your nonsense. They're also great for advice if you need it. They're not going to tell you how to do everything, but they may help you dodge some potholes along the way. And so this third week is probably where that little challenge may come up for you. You have your message from Source is the Isle of Avalon, healing, returning to wholeness, transformation. You're being called to change of use point this week. That's where you have this more stern energy of pay attention, we're not playing around here, you have things to do. Because it's time to learn the lesson. You don't just walk into Avalon. You have to earn the privilege. This week is where you have to cast away the things that no longer serve. Not just cut them away, you're throwing this stuff out. And whatever comes up from your shadow this week is what you're working on and you're getting rid of it. Whether that is self-doubt, whether that is a eating habit or an exercise habit, or some of us have insomnia, so sleeping habit, whatever it is, you are fighting that away. Not fighting it as in, I'm going to bully up and I'm going to do this. you're going to find out why it's happening so you can unlock the pattern and free yourself. The Isle of Avalon, in the energies that I've worked with, it is a place of sacred lessons. To achieve it, you have to be able to understand the physical world around you, disconnect from it, and then the door to Avalon will become available to you. There's a whole bunch of people that have different opinions. That's how I work with it. So, but when you really understand that concept of casting away the things that no longer serve, you work through the problems, you come to a higher awareness, and then you gain access to the spiritual wisdom. It kind of makes sense. So, and that's how it's come through to me at this point. We also have for your tarot this week, which ties into the Isle of Avalon concept to me anyway, is 0, which would be the Fool in traditional tarot. Leap of Faith with Archangel Metatron. Believe in yourself, listen to your heart, do what gives you joy. Metatron is the angel of ascension. He was the prophet Enoch who ascended into heaven and never saw death. So we have this energy of someone who is here to guide you into the highest aspects. And that ties in beautifully with the concept of Avalon being the place of sacred awareness, knowledge, and wisdom. But you have to achieve a certain level of knowledge and experience and removing certain things from your life to achieve Avalon. That's what Metatron's here to do. So even if you have been practicing for 20 years, you're starting a new chapter today. You're starting a new chapter this month. You're starting a new chapter this year. You're still starting out on the Fool card at the first of the year. Be ready for the change. Be open to it. Show that quiet confidence, that repose demeanor where, you know what, I've already been through some stuff. I've already been through a few things. I'm ready for what life is bringing to me next. So let's work with the guides, guardians, and God Source, and let's co-create this next year in a way that you would not forget. And the only thing that would you say at the end of the year is, we did this. God Source brought the right people together. We were able to build this, and look at how powerful of a change we created. It could be in your family. It could be in your neighborhood. Who knows? You might be the person who figures out how to solve some massive world situation, but you did it with the help of God's Source and the right group of friends, and that's what you're starting this month. That leap of faith is not just saying, oh, for the month of January, this is an energy that's coming through that is a year-long one. You have a very powerful kickoff point for for 2026. So let's look at your 4th week. We have number 32, Divine Feminine. Whether you believe in the Divine Feminine or not, this energy is the balance to the Divine Masculine. And you notice the dragon standing on a Stonehenge gate. So this is a entry point. This is where you get to introduce the other side. Most of us were raised in a very strong divine masculine church or religion. Divine feminine is the counter to that. It keeps things neutral. It keeps things in balance, if you will. And that's the energy that's coming up. Is this month has been pretty masculine in a lot of ways. There's a lot of feminine energies with the source cards, but the messages have been pretty masculine. The divine feminine comes in to balance that. The masculine is very projective, very outgoing, very loud, boisterous. The feminine is more supportive, a lot more quiet, a lot more receptive, but without that energy, the masculine would burn out. And without the masculine, the feminine would crash. So you have to have both. And in this 4th week, the 3rd week, you were doing that transmuting, you were casting away the things that didn't serve, and you're starting something new, which is great. Now the feminine's coming in saying, let me support you and let me show you the other side of this coin. Yes, there's a lot of work to do, but there's also a gentle way to observe, to understand, and open yourself to receive the gift of light, of manifestation, and of energy from God's Source. Your message from Source is King Tide, plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life. That's interesting because this is divine feminine and this is divine masculine. So your message from Source is be ready. You are setting up a tidal wave of powerful energy and manifestation in this month. It's going to continue on through the year. You're not just going to burn this out in January is what I'm hearing. And when you look, you see there's a bit of a face going on up here. He's holding up basically the circle to allow you to see this face. This is an energy of dramatic change and a shifting of perspective. If you've never been someone who's worked with the divine feminine, this could be a time where you get to introduce yourself to that. That doesn't mean you have to. Some people just don't work with the opposite energy. That's fine. But this is a week where you understand the balances. And that's where you have the divine feminine and the king tide, which is a masculine energy, coming in, because it's like, well, you have to be supported, but you also have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And you have to be able to really hold these energies in balance to be able to manifest anything in life. So you've got that as your start of the week. Let's see how this wraps up with the your message from the tarot is the Lovers. So let's hold these up together, because you have the divine feminine and the divine masculine, king tide and the feminine dragon. And the card that defines or clarifies is the Lovers. This is going to be a month, or this is going to be a week where you really do come into connection. The third week was really talking about, or the second week, taking care of yourself, doing the date night, things like that. The Lovers are saying now you understand the union of opposites. You understand how to transmute something from being singular into duality, which creates new life. The Archangel Raphael is also the patron of air in the East, so this is a prime energy for you to really get clear with your partner, with the energies around you, being able to hold both concepts, the masculine and the feminine, knowing how they interplay and knowing you have to have both to be able to exist. Every person on this planet carries the masculine and the feminine within. Different variations, of course, but that's how they balance. You're looking for the person who complements your energies. And this fourth week is saying, now you're going to see how this plays out best. You might have already known this, that's fine. This could be a refresher for you. But this fourth week, it's interesting, divine feminine, divine masculine, and the Lovers. So you're finding a new union within your relationship. If you're single, you might not be by the end of this fourth week of January. So see how that plays out for you, air, because it's definitely a fun energy that's coming in. Your last week of January, the fifth week, is number 12, and the card is called Singled or Singled. I feel like this is a very strong, almost stoic energy. This month has been about stepping out, walking in repose, understanding yourself, reconnecting in the best way possible, understanding how to bond the union of opposites into the Lovers card. And this week is time to step forth. Step forth with the knowledge that you have gained. Step forth and allow your actions, allow your energy, your aura to speak for you. You don't have to make noise. You don't have to do anything outwardly. Like, you don't be out there banging the drums and, wiggly balloon guy out there screaming that, hey, come to my store. You've done so much work and you've set yourself up for a tidal wave of movement that now you get to observe, be calm, and watch what the universe has in store for you, because you definitely have set yourself up this month, air, for quite the interesting experiences. And a lot of this is understanding energy underneath the scenes. There's going to be some physical action. I do sense that, and I do see that in the cards. But it's going to be this underlying part that is so fascinating, because it's going to happen in your subconscious and your conscious mind, and in your soul and your spirit. And it's going to be reflecting out in a way that you may not have experienced before, because people are going to be watching you this month, but they're going to be watching because they're like, how did they pull that off? It's going to be a shock to them, which is pretty fun to have happen. So your message from source are water codes. Water's a friendly energy for air, so this is good. Ancient wisdom, the intelligence is within you because you already knew this. The water is bringing forth the emotions, the intuition, the deeper message of who you are. So this month, air, is really about connecting into the deepest part of yourself, which happens to be the spark of creation that God's source has planted within you when you first became an entity on this planet. This is understanding who you are in your heart. Some people see it in their third eye, but I agree with this heart energy. This is where the flame of creation exists. The heart holds the balance for the chakras. The heart holds the Lovers card in its place. When you are able to understand yourself at that level, the heart chakra opens up so naturally that you have that glimpse of genuine agape love, where you truly feel love and compassion for every single person, creature, and element in existence. Air, this month is going to be a transformative month for you. Whether you've been practicing for 20 years or this is the first video you've ever seen on the subject, this is going to be a wake-up call or a leveling up call, whatever applies. Because the God source really wants you to understand you're not who you used to be. You are now someone who is beyond that. And you're now stepping into a different aspect, a different consciousness that is aware of who they are and who God's source is. And of course, we're going to wrap it up with another water card. Number 12 with Perspective, Archangel Kamael. Again, this is the Hanged Man in traditional tarot. There's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight. Dare to be different. Your view of reality in the month of January will shift. You may not even be aware of it until the last week, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what just happened? Because you're going to look at back at the month and you're going to realize I'm not the same person I was on January 1st. I'm not the same person that I was in 2025. I've grown that much, but it might take a month for the awareness to kick in. And that's where this perspective shift is coming in, because it's wanting you to cast away the old, cast away the things that don't serve you, because you're not that person anymore. You've changed. And like I said, I don't care if you've been practicing 20 years or 2 months. You're not the same person you were. And now it's time to understand this new person. Find out why they're so fascinating. Find out what there is to love about this new person that you are. Because it's at your core, it is the true you. You're just peeled off another layer so you don't have that egoic blinders on anymore. So go through this month with joy, with peace, and that quiet repose, that self-confidence that comes from knowing that you can do this because you already have done it. And allow yourself to level up. And my guides are really wanting to make sure, take the time with your spouse, take your time with your kids. Really remember, you're working, you're doing all the outside stuff because of that value. Those things are so important to you. And if you're single and you're like, I'm so alone, put the time aside to go on a date. Like, reconnect with humanity. It's not just about work. So take the time to really enjoy that this month, Air. With that, I will see you guys in the next video. Comment, let me know your thoughts and feelings, and have fun out there this month, Air. It's going to be worth it.